There was a time when walking away felt impossible. Not because you didn't see the problems, but because you believed things could change. You believed conversations could fix misunderstandings. You believed effort could repair distance. You believed patience could solve everything. So instead of leaving, you stayed. You explained your feelings. You tried to communicate clearly. You gave people the opportunity to understand you again and again and again. But something slowly became obvious. Not everyone listens to understand. Some people listen only to respond. Some people listen only to defend themselves. And some people don't listen at all. They just wait for the conversation to end, because they already decided they won't change. At first, you didn't want to accept that. You told yourself maybe they were stressed. Maybe they didn't realize how their actions affected you. Maybe they just needed more time. But time has a strange way of revealing patterns, because when someone truly cares, you don't have to explain the same pain repeatedly. They pay attention, they adjust, they make the effort to do better. And when that effort never comes, something inside you begins to shift. You stop trying to prove your point. You stop repeating your feelings. You stop begging for understanding, because eventually you realize something powerful. Understanding cannot be forced. Respect cannot be negotiated. And effort cannot be demanded from someone who never intended to give it. That's when you learn the quietest lesson of all. Sometimes the strongest response is silence. Not the silent treatment, but the silence of acceptance. Acceptance that you cannot change someone's behavior. Acceptance that some people will only appreciate your presence once it's gone. Acceptance that staying longer won't suddenly create respect. So instead of arguing, you observe. Instead of explaining again, you listen to their actions. Instead of trying to convince someone to treat you better, you step back. Not dramatically, not angrily, quietly. You start protecting your energy. You stop reacting immediately. You stop giving long emotional explanations. You stop chasing clarity from people who constantly create confusion. And suddenly, the dynamic changes. People notice your silence. They notice you're not fighting anymore, not defending yourself, not trying to fix everything. And that silence makes them uncomfortable because they were used to your reactions. They were used to your emotional investment. They were used to your willingness to stay. But now, you're calm, and calm is unpredictable. The truth is, walking away quietly isn't weakness, it's clarity. It's understanding that your peace is more valuable than winning an argument. It's realizing that not every relationship deserves endless effort. It's accepting that sometimes the most respectful thing you can do for yourself is leave. And leaving quietly is powerful, because you're not trying to punish anyone. You're not trying to make a scene. You're simply choosing not to remain where your presence isn't valued. That kind of decision doesn't come from anger. It comes from growth. The old version of you would have fought harder, stayed longer, explained more. But the new version of you understands something the old version didn't. Not every connection is meant to last forever. And forcing something to continue doesn't make it meaningful. Sometimes it only prolongs the inevitable. So now, you watch patterns instead of promises. You listen to actions instead of explanations. You observe consistency instead of emotional speeches. And when something feels wrong, you don't argue about it anymore. You adjust your distance, because distance reveals truth. People who value you will notice your absence. They will ask questions. They will try to repair the connection. But people who only valued your convenience won't chase. And that tells you everything you need to know. Walking away quietly is not about pride. It's about self-respect. It's about understanding that your presence should never feel like a burden to someone else. It's about realizing that relationships should bring peace, not constant confusion. And once you truly understand that, something inside you changes forever. You stop fearing distance. You stop fearing silence. You stop fearing the possibility of losing people, because the truth becomes clear. Anyone who can easily lose you never truly valued having you. And the moment you accept that, walking away becomes easier, not painless, but necessary. And sometimes, the quietest exit creates the loudest realization.